Good morning. He did not parkour his way in this morning. He came straight across the floor. So, that's a good thing. It is May 4th, and because I'm a Star Wars nerd, that's what I'm going to remind you that it's Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. May the Force be with you. But then I was also raised Catholic, so when someone says, may the Force be with you, I want to respond, and also with you. Yeah. We've just had a pretty major shift at work, and so I've shifted my rest day again. Today, I'm the only employee on the floor, although all three of the owners will be there. So I was like, you know what? We're going to shift the rest day. So I got up, I slept in that hour and then got up and did a whole bunch of stretching, but didn't exercise. So I could prepare for today. So we're going to cross our fingers that today goes well. So, but we are here for May 4th. Our title is The Way of Love. And our author is Helen Brungardt. And it is from Contemplation, which is from 1975. And it doesn't say who she's from, so. The first thing, though, is a quote from Mark. Love cannot be taught. Jesus said that we are to love God. He said, the Lord our God is one Lord, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment, and that is Mark 12:30. To love God is to seek spirit, to seek truth within ourselves first. We know that what we love is that to which we give our attention. To what do we give our attention? We give our attention to the clothes we wear, jobs, relationships, the thoughts we think. We give our attention to the mistakes that we have made. We give it to money, vacation, achievement, success, relationships. Yet we do not seem to hear the basic message, and that is love God first. Let us devote our attention to God within first. To God within first. When we turn within and direct our attention to truth, truth flows into our minds and hearts. The truth always seeks to express itself. As we give our attention to God, we acknowledge the truth within us and recognize that this truth is the answer to everything. God becomes our companion. Truth personifies itself when we can recognize it, as though some new friend. When you put God first, then love personifies itself through all whom you meet. That love may be personified in some person who comes into your life and loves you as God does. Totally. All right. So, okay. She's pretty point and direct. I'm going to go back to the line, let us devote our attention to God within first. What is she talking about? What I'm going to remind you is spiritual practice. All right. If we turn within to the source of our own being, we turn within to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. That's why I said the source of your own being, because the source of your own being is God. It is spirit. So if we turn within, First thing, when we open our eyes, and I've heard this practice, no, sorry, that's going to sound a little weird. Let me rephrase that. So gratitude practice, right? It is a powerful practice that we teach. When we are grateful, things just work better. So what I'm going to say is this practice of as soon as you open your eyes in the morning, you practice gratitude. Okay. So we are grateful for opening our eyes in the morning. We're grateful to draw a deep breath. We are grateful for the sounds of the birds singing. We are grateful for the sun coming up, whatever it is, practicing gratitude as soon as we open our eyes in the morning. That would be an excellent way to, as she says in that sentence, let us devote our attention to God within first. As soon as we open our eyes, we practice the spiritual practice of gratitude, and we are grateful. We turn to the source of our own being and say, I am grateful to be alive this morning. And that's all it has to be. It doesn't have to be any more than that. And then you have literally taken your first step in the day by putting your attention on God first. And then everything that follows that, you've already put God first. So if we're going to take her advice, what we love is where our attention goes, is kind of what she said. And it's like like a whole lot of my attention during the day does go to my job. I spend 8 hours at my job. Okay. That is the biggest chunk of my day is my job. Do I love my job? Yes. But if I practice that gratitude first thing in the morning, I go to the source of my own being and I say that I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be awake. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for the source of my own being. Then I've put God first. And then when I go to my job where I'm going to spend a bulk of my day and a bulk of my attention, well, God's already in the forefront. So I'm literally leading with God. Now, does it mean I'm going to think about God all day? Probably not. But I've already thought about God first thing in the morning. So because I work in a health food store, okay? So when my customers walk through that door, and more importantly, when my coworkers walk through that door, what am I going to see first? I'm going to see God walking through that door. I'm going to look in the eyes of my coworkers. I'm going to look in the eyes of my customers, and I'm going to see God looking back at me. Which, trust me, is extremely helpful because working in a health food store, I meet people sometimes on the worst day of their lives. I've just gotten this diagnosis. And they can be very unhappy and crabby and not very nice. But I have started my day off with God. I have started my day off by going to the source of my being and saying I'm grateful. And opening that channel of love. So when that person comes in and they're cranky and they're not nice and they don't feel good, I can see God looking back at me. And then the God in me reaches out to the God in them. And then what can I do to help? Really, honestly, it's that easy. And yet it is also that hard. It is that hard because you are starting your day by going to the source of your being and saying, I am a divine channel of love. Use me. I am grateful to know this. And then the rest of the day, that love is going to flow through you to the extent that you are willing. Okay? And when you meet those people who are cranky and unhappy, the challenge is to see God looking back at you. But you've already started your day off by putting your attention there first. Wow. I don't think I've ever thought about it that way. And honestly, that is the power. That's why this is a spiritual practice for me, is to sit here and think about it. Like I've heard of the spiritual practice of gratitude, and I've heard of the spiritual practice of practicing gratitude as soon as you open your eyes. I never thought about it looking at it that way. About opening my eyes, putting my attention first on to God, to spirit, to love, and saying, use me as a divine channel as soon as I open my eyes, and see how that day sets me off. Now, I will straight up be honest with you. One of the reasons why I like doing this in the morning is because sometimes I wake up cranky. I'm not a morning person. I've never been a morning person. I'm a little bit better of a morning person than I used to be. But doing this first thing in the morning, reading this, I get up, go exercise, eat some breakfast, and then I come and do this. You don't want to see me without breakfast. So, because the exercise that I do first thing in the morning is a spiritual practice for me. Eating breakfast is necessary. And then I come and do this as my spiritual practice, which connects me with spirit. It connects me with God. It gets me thinking about it. No matter how I wake up, I have a better day because I've done this spiritual practice. But it could be as easy as opening my eyes in the morning, being grateful for that first breath that I take consciously, and saying to God, saying to Spirit, I am a divine channel of love. Use me. And see where my attention goes for the rest of the day. That's going to be the divine experiment for today. So, because now that I'm thinking about it, the power of a good, strong spiritual practice first thing in the morning can really change the course of your day. I'm prone to nightmares, and so that's one of the things that this does help. Then that way I'm thinking about this, not the nightmare that I had the night before. So, the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is that line. Let us devote our attention to God, to spirit, to love within first. That's the mission. It's always the mission. But I love that line. I love that line. I might have to look her up and see who she is. Is she divine science? Is she unity? Is she science of mind? I have no idea. But now I'm curious because that was incredible. This book has already been just really amazing, and I'm just over the moon and thrilled with this. And yeah, it's exciting. Okay, so we have our mission. We have our mission. And a suggested way to handle it. And then I'm going to remind you the other, which is kind of goes hand in hand with the mission. The spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like. And honestly, starting your day off with gratitude, starting your day off by saying, I'm a divine channel for love. That's pretty incredible when you think about kindness, love, and compassion. The most loving thing you can do for yourself is remind yourself that you are love. Whatever purpose we could be said to have, love is always going to be it. Whatever purpose we have in this world, our purpose is to love. It's to love ourselves, to love each other, to love nature, to love, that's what that master teacher said. Jesus, I come not to break the laws, but to fulfill them in love. That's why he taught love. All right. So loving, kind, compassion. Practice on yourself. 1, you are your own best test subject. Is this a loving, kind, and compassionate thing? You get immediate feedback, so practice on yourself. 2, I woke up with a little bit of headache, and when I wake up with those sinus headaches, it makes my thinking a little slow. So 2, I don't remember what the second one is. The third one is always, you deserve your own love, you deserve your own kindness, you deserve your own compassion. Oh, I remember what it is. I'm encouraging you to create a habit. Like if you want to create that habit of opening your eyes and being grateful, that's what this is. I'm encouraging you to create a first response so that no matter what happens in your life, you respond lovingly, kindly, and compassionately. Because instead of beating myself up about forgetting it, I'm sitting here laughing. That's what I'm talking about. Creating that first response of love, kindness, and compassion, no matter what is going on in the world. Because the cool thing is when we connect to the source of our own being, when we do it regularly, when we declare ourselves to be a channel of love, then we connect to the infinite source of love, kindness, and compassion. There's always enough to go around. So take that deep breath before you speak. Take a nap, take a walk, take a break. Change your day of rest. Go get some exercise. I know it's a dirty word, but I love it. Cuddle with a fur baby, or, go hug somebody. I mean, with permission, of course. And get that connection. Get that connection. So, as I said, you do deserve your own love, kindness, and compassion, so practice on yourself. I feel like there's something else, but I'm a little confused this morning, and that reading was just amazing. So I think I'm going to move on with the rest of the suggestions, which is to do something to engage your mind and your body today. For me, that was some serious stretching. I don't stretch. I'm a typical runner. I don't stretch. I did it this morning. I do encourage you to drink plenty of water. Hydration is important. Your brain works better when it's well hydrated. Which was when the water that I drank this morning kicks in, I will be well hydrated. And I do encourage you to get early in your day bright light. What I'm talking about, it's called a circadian rhythm. It's a hormone cycle. When you get that early in your day bright light, it stimulates the hormones into that cycle. You'll have more energy during the day. You'll sleep better at night. There isn't any sun this morning, and I didn't go out for my morning, whatever it is that we do, walk, ride, artificial light helps too. I mean, sunlight, 5 minutes of real good sunlight is probably the best, but artificial light will help. So take care of yourself is what I'm saying. That's what practicing love, kindness, and compassion is. It is about taking care of yourself. If you're going to be a divine channel for love in the world, you got to take care of yourself. If you are going to be a servant to the people, you got to take care of yourself. Can't pour from an empty cup. And I'm also going to remind you, because I just remembered the other part of practicing love, kindness, and compassion. Make room for joy. You can also open your eyes in the morning and say, I'm a divine channel for love, but we're also divine channels for joy. Joy is a quality of God, and no matter what is going on in the world, we deserve joy. You deserve joy. Make room for that. That's why I say eat dessert first. I do mean it literally, but it is also a metaphor for your life is a special occasion. Make room for joy. And sometimes that looks like eating dessert first. All right. Okay. I think I'm back on track now. So I'm at the part where I'm going to, there's an Ernest Holmes quote. Because we're talking about the way of love and we're talking about gratitude. And this quote is, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time, because heaven is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. If we wake up and as soon as we open our eyes, we acknowledge that we are love, that we acknowledge that we are joy, we acknowledge that all there is God, then we're more than halfway, probably 3/4 of the way to that heavenly mindset. When we learn that heaven is a state of mind, it is a state of consciousness. When we learn that we create it for ourselves, just as we create that hellish state of mind, it's a superpower, and we learn that we can create it for ourselves. Heaven ceases to be a place that we have to get to, and becomes any place we are, because it's here. Think about that for a minute. If that doesn't rock you back on your heels, I don't know what will. So, open the windows of your soul. When you open your eyes in the morning, declare yourself the divine channel of love that you are, the beloved child of God that you are, and see how that changes your day. All right. I am at the part where I'm going to remind you of the social medias. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark on the social medias that we are on. So please look out for all of that stuff. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. And there's interesting stuff happening all the time. You want to know what's going on with the center? Email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on our constant contact. And if it says click here now, then it will click here now and take you right to whatever it is that you are looking at. It'll either take you right to the information or to the person. Okay. Yes. And I'm going to move forward into encouraging you to have a great day, wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, a loving day, a devoting our attention to that which we love day, a remembering who we are day, a remembering at least a part of our purpose day, a love-filled day, a take care of yourself day, a don't take on too much day. That's a personal reminder. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, a divine channel of love, a source of joy. You are spirit in motion, God in action, brilliant light. I know I've said divine spark, but I'm going to say it again because I like it. A godling in whom God is well pleased and well represented, always. So, know that Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m.-ish. Take care of yourself. Absolutely, take care of yourself. Make room for joy. And know that you are loved. I will see you next time.